Good evening, fellow gamers, team, PCs, DMs alike. Welcome to the exciting and only 16-minute delayed conclusion to Arc 1 of Siege of the Empire. I do not anticipate us going any longer than tonight on this arc, and that's going to be great, and it's going to be awesome. Then, the next time you will see us after this will be for Roll20Con. Hashtag Roll20Con. It's going to be amazing. Fortunately, I'm not, sponsored by Roll20, but hey, I'm going to stream Siege of the Empire Part 2. Apparently I need to update my virus protection. That's real embarrassing. Siege of the Empire Part 2 is going to be recorded on the 3rd of June? June's the next month, right? May, June? Yeah. The 3rd of June is Roll20Con, and I will be streaming at our normal time, 6 p.m. EST. So that is super exciting. But most importantly, we're going to give the quickest of recaps to my players, and then we're going to jump right into it because I want to make sure that we get done tonight because, as we all know, players can fuck everything up. So, without further ado, I'm going to unmute them. As you all well and know, they like to be yelling when I do this, so cover your ears momentarily. And 3, 2, 1, let's...
Oh.
Hello, everyone.
Well, what I said was that I had a pre-game on my football team, and I had Bulldogs, expecting everybody to go Bulldogs, and it was just dead silent.
That would happen to you.
I'm gonna awkwardly open my Coca-Cola can now.
Congratulations. I don't know how to...
I want Coke.
Also, when
I don't cook, it's gross.
during my last senior game, we had a whole
Megan,
heroin
we
man
need
myself.
to have a talk.
Soda
Are you a
of all
Pepsi
kinds
fan?
are...
Because
no.
I swear to God.
No, soda of all kinds is gross.
Well,
I
mean,
have another.
It's nice to drink every now and then, but that's just me.
I have another similar football story.
Okay.
God, worse than that? I don't know how that's possible, but... Go ahead.
I actually said my own last name wrong when I was introducing myself because I got nervous.
That sounds like something that you would do.
Yeah,
Sad.
and my voice cracked while I was doing it, so just to add insult to injury.
It's fantastic.
You seem to have a hard high school career.
It wasn't fun. Well, I take that back.
I'm
When I got
fairly
drunk, it was fun.
I'm fairly certain Jackson has a hard time at everything.
Again, not surprising.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, they're not wrong.
Aw,
We're
it's
not-
sad.
It's I'm proud of it, I think. I don't know. There's not much else to be with it. If I'm not proud of it, I might go crazy. I might die.
That's the greatest sentence I think I've ever heard. Oh, I'm sorry. We're laughing with you, not at you, Jackson, okay?
You can say that.
Yeah, I can't tell the difference anymore.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
Can I get you a puppy or something?
Trust
I
me,
want a puppy, but I
don't
can't. have a
worry,
puppy.
high school's all over now. I don't have to go back.
Well,
This is pretty great too.
I hope that...
Also, you want to hear something even worse? Was that I started the science club with two of my friends. I was like, I want to be president, and so we had an anonymous vote, and I wasn't president. It was just me and two other people, and I wanted to run for president. I said that, and then they voted for the other guy. He said he didn't even want to be president.
I mean,
Amazing.
speaking from someone who, won class president in my high school.
I was no. I was in science club. I wanted to be president of the science club.
I know, it's fine, never mind.
That's when you just take over presidency. It's fine.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
got left with treasurer.
That's when you go the whole...
Wait, how is there a treasurer of science club? What money do you have?
I mean, you need
we
money
had-
to buy supplies.
If I remember right, our total funds was $27.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they gave me that position because they were just feeling sorry for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, no one here feels sorry for you, Jackson.
I do. I feel sorry for you.
I don't
You're
need
the
your
only
pity.
one.
So,
Good.
let's go ahead and get started, because I started late today, so we've lost 20 minutes, and I really need to make sure we get this done today.
Sir, there is no
God,
such thing
Lord.
as losing 20 minutes when you're having a conversation with Sir Jackson over here.
Actually, yeah, that's probably like 20 minutes of my life I'll never get back. But
God, that reminds me of like every single date I've ever been on.
Oh god.
Holy crap.
so,
You almost made the water come back up.
for those of you, I think everybody was here last week, right? We didn't miss anybody. Excellent.
I would hope so.
Well, I mean, we were kind of missing Jericho. Hopefully, you've gotten that issue resolved. If not, we have a backup plan, right, Jericho?
This seems to be working. I might, if it starts failing, then I'll suggest we switch to Skype. But
Okay, cool, excellent. So we have a backup plan in place, so we can hear the
Work.
wonderful sounds of Liam.
And now we lost Jordan.
As he loses
Amazing.
Jordan, this is amazing. Literally immediately.
notch.
Prop 2, let's go again.
What is happening right now?
So, luckily, I am still recording. We're gonna try and get this back, hopefully. So, for Twitch users, I apologize. Everybody else on YouTube, you guys are doing just fine. We're gonna try and get this back real quick. I would totally turn music on for you, but that would require like opening an additional program and doing all kinds of craziness. So we're gonna hope this just works for us. Usually the interrupts are very short. Hey, I think we might be back. All right, so let me open this up really quick. Really quick.
It's fine.
Hello.
I made some very strong, solitary, non-adaptive spider people. I have killed literally everything
Yeah,
I've
why
run
am I not
into.
surprised by that? I don't know why.
Are we talking about Solaris? If we get talking about Solaris, we really won't ever start this game.
Okay, we should start.
Okay, we won't. We'll
So,
stop.
I'm going to type the details of the end of one of my last dates.
okay.
Please
Go
do.
ahead.
Okay. So, hopefully my computer will cooperate from here on out, and we can, not have that happen much ever again. Luckily, I think I finally got, the system down. It only took me, 15 weeks or something like that, but I think we've done it.
Yeah.
Because, speaking of, this is totally week 15 of recording, at least. By the way, in case
Yay.
you guys are curious. So that's cool.
Oogie.
So, I think that... Quick recap. You guys were locked inside Melchior's tower with the strange Shadow Lady, and you all were cursed with different varying curses. I believe that cured at this moment are Ari and... who else is cured? Milo. Milo is cured. Yeah.
I'm killed.
Yep. Cool. Awesome.
Morella was cured, not Ari.
Yeah, I don't think I was, but that's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh,
I was blind.
Yeah,
I
I
was
was-
blind, and they thought that
Yeah.
cured blindness was something
More
else.
important.
That's
Yeah, more
correct.
important.
So Morella and Ari were, or Morella and Milo were cured of their curse. However, we do know that Raka is still cursed, and that Jericho is still cursed.
But I know what it does.
Jericho is we don't know what his doesn't do
I'm
something
fine. I don't know what you're talking about.
what that does. So, and we had come to the revelation at the end of last session that the odd magic in here was not really magic at all. Well, it's a form of magic. It just uses a different resource as opposed to how regular arcane and spiritual casters gain their power. It comes from your brain instead of like your willpower. So we discovered that they were psionics, and they kind of affected the door, and they didn't seem to react the same to certain spells that other magics would. Since your first initial encounter with the Shadow Lady, you had not encountered her again, which was good. That's always good. And I think we ended off with like I said, with the revelation of it being psionics. So I think that we'll probably pick up from the end of day then, and I will move everybody back to. I think you guys were on level 2. I think that's where everybody was kind of hanging out.
Yes, we were.
Everybody else had gone downstairs, I think, but...
Yeah, everybody is still, like, I mean, here, because I think we played it up where the revelation... So I guess, Jericho, now that you can actually talk, I guess you should probably open up our scene with... You're standing around, and Milo and Marcus are both there as well. Marcus reading his weird necrotic book.
Awesome necrotic book.
And Milo kind of hovering about as you comprehended languages for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And discovered that this was psionics.
And very slowly I'm figuring out what that means.
Okay, right, yeah. You're learning a little bit about it. Obviously, the content that is involved in this, like, you were just trying to basically identify something. The content that is involved in order to, like, actually learn a whole lot about it would take you more than you have food, I think. If that makes sense.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it'd be basically a lifetime of study if you wanted to actually, like, really learn the ins and outs of how it works.
Milo's found his calling.
Yeah, it probably is closely related to the abjuration family, right? Because the abjuration family is all about physical or like mental force, or like repelling something with mental force. So yeah, it falls a little close to home for abjuration wizards, but still not quite the same.
Okay, so what time of day is it?
It's
about
late.
now?
It took Jericho many hours to just decipher. Like, you can read it, but it's still...
The basics.
It's not the fact that it is... it's the language is hard. It's more the fact that the concepts are completely foreign to Jericho. Like, they're talking about, like... Yeah, Jericho doesn't really have magical training, so he's having to, like, relay words to you, Milo, about, like, theories and how different, like, powers course throughout the universe. And Jericho has no idea about anything of that. Like, that's your area, right?
I don't even have, like, intro to psionics. I skipped that whole class.
Psionics,
Right,
whatever.
yeah, no. Psionics are, I mean, they're not even... I think, Milo, actually, roll me a history or arcana check, whichever one you want. Maybe you know, like, the very barest of, like, theories, maybe. Or, like, somebody experimented one time. We'll see what it is, depending on what your roll is.
Yeah. I'll see a history.
Okay,
for
yeah.
Mathematics.
That's
Boom.
nice. Boom. Nice. Okay, so yeah, so I think that you know, when the revelation is brought upon, like, maybe you're helping Jericho, like, figure it out. Like, he keeps mentioning all these different theories in the way that they're talking about it, and something like rings a bell, like, in your mind, and you know that in let's see, what order would it be? I think it'd probably be the Grey Order of Magic. They experiment with things that are kind of beyond the realm of normal human capacity, because they themselves kind of tout themselves as being beyond normal human capacity. And so there's probably, like, this famous story about a singular Grey Order wizard who tried to experiment with like, creating a new school of magic. and in doing so, they found him in his study after like a week of not hearing from him, with his brain literally just liquefied inside of his skull, from the type of magic he was trying to do by combining or doing weird things with it in different ways that isn't normally possible. And his, like, the research that he had, like the notes he had, maybe they're not public knowledge, but being a member of you're a member of which order? The Gold Order, right?
Yes.
Being a member of the Gold Order, they relate fairly well with the Grey Order, and this is probably like, it's like one of those, like, don't experiment with magic stories, right? Where it grows a little bit with the telling, but it's all based in fact, right? It's don't experiment with magic because your brain will melt inside of your skull, and that's what happens.
I thought that was from watching too much television.
It's both. It's both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
I think that once Jericho starts to like label off of this stuff, you recognize a connection between those two.
I'm like, oh shit.
Right, yeah, and ostensibly, if anybody has materials, like source material on this stuff, they were either A, doing the same thing, or B, doing something similar at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say, where did you go, Raka?
Sorry.
What?
That's okay, Raka. Everybody has one character on every floor of the tower. It's fine. I can just copy paste.
There's multiple of us.
I deleted Rocka by accident.
Okay. So I think that you make that connection, Milo, fairly quickly once they start talking about it. But now you have a name, right? There was never really a name given to it. It was just kind of anticipated. Oh, you need light, don't you, Raka?
Yes, I do.
It was just kind of anticipated as like, this is experimental magic, and so you make the connection of experimental magic to experimental magic, but having like a name for said what can basically be considered school of magic is something entirely different.
Yeah, this is really kind of...
Yeah, it's like hyper advanced level stuff. Like the fact that whoever wrote all of this, which you could assume would have been Melchior, whoever wrote all of this had done enough research and progressed far enough in the path that they had come to give it a name, like its own. It's not just like abjuration magic mixed with enchantment. It's actually like, no, this is what it is. This is the new school of magic that I'm using. Which kind of proves the theorem of like he tapped into a different type of energy than is normal, or figured out a way to somehow tap into a different well of energy. At least that's what you would assume.
Yeah. And Milo's thinking, this is great. Scary, but absolutely fantastic.
Jericho's kind of glazed over and thinking that it's going to be really hard to find words to rhyme with psionics.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Psionics. We don't have that yet
I
either.
was gonna say that doesn't exist yet.
Yes, I think with this revelation, Milo would probably suggest we set up a small little our sleeping bags and things.
Right, we should probably gather everybody together and try to find somewhere defensible and take stock of our situation.
Indeed.
Yeah, well, a couple locations, like, you know that the reading room actually didn't have a door, but there are, like, some one-way entry with a door that you could barricade downstairs.
I kind of feel like the biggest threat we've seen so far in here is a ghost, and I bet she doesn't care about doors.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I bet the reading nook / ICU is the most comfortable place to rest.
It absolutely is. Yeah, it is /ICU at this point, isn't it?
That's where I put Ari.
It's true. It's true. You are a doctor. Cool. So, so the group of you, you're essentially going to turn in for the night. I mean, I have to ask the question: are you guys going to set watches?
I feel
I
like
hope
we
so.
probably should.
Okay.
Yes.
Probably because I'm not sure. I mean, I know Milo has that alarm spell, but I'm not confident of what our magic can and can't affect in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Raka
Oh.
is constantly talking in
You're still
a
fish.
different language.
I mean, on the plus side, he can still wake us up if something bad happens while we're on watch.
That's a good point.
That's true.
Okay.
He's blowing
So
fish
can I
balls.
roll?
Yes.
I don't know what role that's going to be. It's actually no. You know what? It'd probably be an artisan tools check with dexterity. So just roll me a dexterity check because you
Got
wouldn't have proficiency or anything like that.
You're doing what now?
I mean, it's recognizable. I mean, it is a bunch of shadows, so it looks kind of like a black splotch, but there's like a distinctive form of someone or something.
Yeah.
It's not at least stick figures. Also, wait, hold on. Did you have disadvantage on that check?
No.
Okay, alright. Just making sure.
So what just happened?
Raka made a portrait of the Shadow Lady. I think it's his new deity.
I'm sure she'll be flattered.
So, everybody go ahead and move. If you're all sleeping inside that room, everybody go ahead and move inside there.
I get this chair. Dibs.
Couch completely to myself.
So,
What?
just saying.
You're tiny. You can share.
I know.
This is the night that I stay awake because it's every other night. So, yeah, I'm gonna be awake the whole night.
Okay. Just reading by candlelight.
Yes.
So, what are the chances that we've noticed this at this point?
It's been a few days. Like, you noticed he slept last
Yeah.
night, but you probably realized he didn't sleep the night before.
Yeah, I was really hoping that was, the end of that.
Yeah, I think that you probably
Just-
would notice, if he just, starts to, read his book late into the night, that's probably not unusual.
Yeah.
But, if your watch is, third watch and he's still awake, or even second watch and he's still awake, that's probably a bit unusual.
Yeah.
So-
Do we want to set watch order, or...
Yeah, should we just be the same?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think normal watch order is probably relevant here. Which, to remind myself, every non-dark vision person is set up with a dark vision person. So it's Raka and Jericho, Marilla and Milo, and then Marcus, and then how's it work? I guess there's going to be one watch where
it
there's
was
no
Marcus
dark
and
vision.
Milo, and it was
Yeah.
Morella and
Well, yeah. So it's going to
who
be. It
was
was
with
it was-
Ari. Ari didn't have a watch yet,
I
did
don't-
she?
Well, you have four,
Ari.
right? So there's 4 watches. So it'll need to be 2, 1, 2, 1, or 2, 2, 1, 1, or 1, 1, 2, 2.
Okay.
You said 2-2.
So I guess in that
Jeez, you were fucking mature, man. God damn.
Bloody hell.
So yeah.
Do your
Um,
duty, Mick.
Yeah, and the 3 of you that can see in the dark is Ari, Jericho, and Milo.
Yeah.
But Marcus obviously will have a light because he's reading his book. So, and you have the light spell, so Marcus can be counted as like a dark visioner, right?
Mhm.
Because Marcus has the light spell. So, Raka and Jericho, Marilla and Milo, Marcus, Ari is probably like that watch order, if that's cool with
Yeah.
everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So I think that if Raka and Jericho, you guys are going first, because you're kind of like the least drained, I think, because Ari's not feeling so hot. Morella is feeling a little weirded out by not being able to see people for a while. Milo is probably pretty tired from doing his own research. Raka's, probably the least tired out of all of you, obviously.
I actually had the least health. I had taken the most damage today.
Sure,
Yeah, but
that's actually true.
mostly because you fight walls.
It's actually true.
Oh, that's right.
No, I hit by the
I'm
door.
like, wait, what?
So yeah, so I think that
Headbutting the door.
like
Right.
during first watch, like Jericho, you would probably immediately notice that Marcus is not
Yeah.
sleeping.
So,
Now again, he can still gain benefit from a long rest if he just rests for 8 hours, but he should probably sleep a little bit of that, right?
Exactly, and he's got the last watch.
Correct.
I know, so
Yeah.
if he doesn't get to sleep soon, he's not going to have a particularly restful night, and then we're all going to die tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, terrible consequences to everything. So yeah, I think Jericho would. Such suspense. Are you drawing again?
Ugh.
I don't honestly know. Hold on, let me.
I know I leveled up, but I don't know like what
It was 700 something.
Oh,
Yeah.
767.
and that's also what I should mention too. Inspiration. Marcus gets inspiration for playing his character true to form and attacking the Shadow Beast that he already knew would probably be a bad idea. So Marcus gets inspiration for that. And then I think Jericho gets inspiration for the valiant use of comprehend languages at an appropriate time to discover what is going on. Something that the last group that entered the tower clearly didn't have at their disposal.
Yeah, I'm feeling so much better about our chances now. Yay!
I think that it says sphere, Milo. It does not say dome. So technically it does. Like, it's a circle. It's just half of it is outside and half of it is inside the...
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it's probably extending a little bit into the first floor.
Sure. I was just trying to kind of
No,
make a room
that's actually
for it.
really good for you because, you know...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We're on
I'm
the
so
same page
confused.
there. Cool. So great. So Jericho, do you have a scene with Marcus?
Yeah, I think Jericho will approach Marcus, still, I guess, feverishly reading his book, so encourage him to get to sleep. So, Marcus, I know whatever you found must be some fantastic material, given that you've had your face buried in it all day, but you've got last watch. You probably want to get to sleep sometime soon.
Marcus looks up from reading his book and looks at Jericho and he's like, it's all right. It's all right. The book is keeping me awake. As long as I don't put it down until my watch, I'll be fine.
I'm not sure that's true. Like, I'm a doctor, and that is definitely not the same thing as sleeping. You're not an
Don't worry,
elf.
Jericho. I am also a doctor. This is fine.
You what? Since when?
Since long before you, Jericho.
Scandalized.
Ugh.
It's just, I mean, I know you weren't sleeping before, and I'm a little concerned that we're in some pretty dire straits right now, and I just want to make sure everyone's well rested.
Don't worry about being well rested, Jericho. I will be fine.
I'm not.
Marcus goes over to Jericho and throws his arm around his shoulders and he's like, "Come here. It's fine. It's fine. Just come
Are
look
you-
at this book. It's really pretty."
Have you been drinking?
No, I have not. This book
He
is
was just going on
actually
rock
really
on wood
good.
approach and put his
Oh.
arms around everybody else too.
Oh god, group hug. I will glance at the book, actually. What is Marcus reading?
So you look at the dialect, and I think this is like real early, so maybe you just happen to have comprehend languages on.
Yeah.
It's not in common, but
not-
it is in. I mean, can you identify the language of comprehend? I think
I
it
don't
just allows you
think
to read
so,
them,
no.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can tell it's not in common. It looks like a very old script.
I might be able to recognize the alphabet if it's used by any other languages.
But if you, as a person, have ever like read the Torah, or at least like the old James King version of or King James version of the Bible, like the very kind of old scripty religious texts, that's very similar to what this is.
Okay, he's got himself some scripture.
Yeah, it's definitely like scripture is all you can identify, I think, at a quick glance from the book.
What
It appears to be so. Again, I'm going to use the reference of the Bible because I think it's the most common thing we can relate to as individuals, at least myself.
Very true.
So it's very much Old Testament-y, where you can see like there's like maybe there's a passage about like a famine that swept through the land, and every child after the first had to be put down because there was there was a food shortage, that kind of thing. Very dark, kind of grim.
Kind of like the things that Marcus was telling me about the other day.
Precisely, yeah.
Yeah, so, all right, I mean, if we're both going to be up, then, Marcus, you might as well tell me, what's this about?
Sure, Jericho. This is a very ancient text about one of the very old undead gods. It is the god Quoth, the god of serpents and subtlety.
Heavy. What?
I haven't gotten too much into it, but I know that my order has never found texts like this before. So this is a first.
And you were looking for them?
Of course. Anything that can help our order
You were a
out against...
librarian.
Yeah.
How does it help exactly?
Anything we can use to fight off any form of chaos is helpful to our order. We are warriors after all.
Right, fair enough, but really wish I had detect magic.
Milo lets out a soft snore.
Short bastard. All right. I mean, if we get out of here, if that book can get back to your order, you really don't need to be reading it right now when we're in such peril.
There's no peril. You're talking about that crazy, demonic, chaotic lady, then...
Well, I'm actually also talking about us being trapped inside here by an unknown form of magic, and the last people who tried to, got Mercy killed before they starved to death, actually.
Then
I'm just saying
to worry about in the morning.
I'm going to go ahead and keep worrying about it right now, but, okay, I guess I'll leave you to your reading. I am going to keep such a close eye on him during my watch.
Sure, yeah, you're more watching Marcus to, make sure he's not, trying to practice magic out of this weird Bible tome he got. Yeah,
or
sure. I'm
muttering anything unconsciously.
No reading out loud, particular parts of scripture, because there is no doubt that Marcus has done that, read a scripture verse from, the Sigmar tome of Holy, right? To cast, spells and stuff. There's no doubt that has occurred, or, you've heard him praying hundreds of times at this point. So, yeah.
So now he's got scriptures of some god of undeath.
No. Not the god of undeath. The god of snakes and subtlety.
Was the god itself undead, then?
It was one of the... Well, I mean... That's actually a great question. I don't think it was. I think it was just worshipped. Because it's kind of... so the Nakarian gods are very Egyptian in origin, where in Undeath you might go to them, but they also might bring you back to do their bidding. So they're not technically undead themselves.
Gotcha. They just work with them.
Right, yeah. They just use the undead as a tool, basically.
Fun.
For subtlety.
I would like to approach Marcus.
Sure, Raka. You're there. You're all group hugging.
I put my hand on his shoulder and go.
Maybe just tell
and then I give him a
Raka
thumbs
what
up.
you're reading as you go, and it'll help him adjust faster.
Well, Jericho, you still have comprehend languages on?
I do.
Yeah.
So you hear me say, it's fine and all to be really interested in something that you're reading, but keep in mind that you have a team here, and we all want the best for you, and we think the best thing might be for you to get some rest.
Thumbs
I
up.
love you, man.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Shit powers. Jericho will relay that to Marcus as he's speaking.
Sure, yeah.
Raka makes a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus looks at Raka and at Jericho translating, and more at Jericho. He's like, alright, I understand. And he closes down the book, and he goes to just sit down. He's not going to go to sleep, but he's just going to go and, like, sit down in, like, a corner.
Sure.
Like that corner.
Awesome.
I give Jericho a thumbs up.
Really kind of wish I had a sleep spell.
I think you have less health than him, so that'd be dangerous. And
I just have to be careful about where I was targeting it.
Indeed. Okay, cool. So we progress through your watch with no real issue, and you go to sleep and you wake up. Who's next? Milo and Morella, I think.
Yeah.
So you wake up Milo and Morella. You wake up. I assume Marcus is still kind of just like, maybe like praying or doing something awake.
I'm just kind of like in the corner praying in my mind, just kind
Sure.
of thinking over what I've read from this book.
Yeah, so there's like a window here, right? So are you like longingly like gazing out the window and because it's so I didn't describe the windows too much here, but the windows are they're kind of this weird kind of clouded glass. I assume that if you had like tried to like touch them, your hands don't actually touch the glass itself. They appear to just like slide over it, kind of the same way those doors did downstairs and the ones that lead upstairs from here. But so it's kind of like a weird, like kind of dream vision-esque sight that you see outside of the glass. And there's moonlight you can see kind of reflected. The moon is almost full actually at this time of the year, or this time of the month. And so it's got this like landscape of like these trees around it and very little birds, but you can see maybe some bats flying around. All in all, it looks like a great night out there.
It's very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great night to think about the god of subtlety.
Yeah, indeed. So, Milo and Morella, during your watch, both of you roll me perception checks, actually. Marcus is distracted, so the two of you that are on watch.
Okay.
Character sheet. Core.
I'm probably still have some of the psionic books.
What
with me.
about Henry?
Yeah, so, like, you can't read them, right? But, like, Jericho maybe, like, pointed out a few of the... Because they're not words. It's written in, like, the Braille-like language. So Jericho probably, like, pointed out a couple of different words just so you can, like, start to teach yourself. It'll obviously take a while. So you're doing that, like, in one of the chairs or whatever, and Morella's kind of, like, watching the outside. Morella, you hear, coming from the staircase that leads downward, what sounds like a soft breeze kind of playing across, like you've ever heard like reeds, wind blowing through reeds by a river, like kind of just like that very light whistling sound, and you almost think your mind is playing a trick on you, but and then like when you listen closer, it goes away, but when you're just kind of like like just relaxing, you think you hear it again, and then you listen closer, and then it goes away. So it definitely, like, it feels odd to you.
Yeah, I think visibly she'd be a little disturbed by it.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe she's like maybe like grabbing like hold of her arms like uneasily if Milo looks over at Morello. She has like a worried face, but she doesn't say anything to Milo.
Yeah, are you like fingering your spear, thinking about like what the hell is a spear gonna do against a shadow beast, kind of thing?
Yeah, and but she also has a lot of other thoughts like swarming her mind.
Sure.
As,
Cool.
Because I don't think one, she didn't read. I don't think she knows like the actual like circumstance they're in, that they're actually trapped in the tower. I don't think she has figured that out yet.
Yeah. So my question is like, did you end up reading the logbook? I know there were some people who didn't initially.
Player wise, I did.
Yeah, but your character, you
wise,
can decide
I
whether or
don't
not your
think
character
she has,
would have
so
by now.
she wouldn't know unless Jericho and Milo specifically told her what
All right.
type of circumstance.
Apparently, my internet
So,
is going to decide to be.
Yeah, that was definitely something that we wanted to share with the group when we were all.
So I'm sorry, those on YouTube. We're going to take a little bit of break here while Luckily, I have recording on. Jesus, I feel so smart that I turned recording on. Because we're gonna have some internet issues. Luckily, it's locally recorded. Yay! We're gonna reconnect in 10 seconds, and hopefully it'll come back. In the meantime, I'm going to distract you with the sultry sounds of my voice. Sultry, that's a word. I think that's the word of the day. I think I'm gonna have to use that word quite often. We're gonna see if my internet is going to cooperate. We're dropping some frames. We're dropping some frames. Come on, internet, I believe in you. And because I have, since I have this video, maybe I will try to edit this part out. We'll see how successful I am at that. In general, I'm not very successful at things like that. But we'll have to see. Let me see what I can do. Maybe if I refresh this page. Wow. I think that actually what we're going to do is we're actually just going to take a 5-minute break while I restart my computer. Or my internet thing, maybe? Perhaps.
Hey.
Oh, hello.
Okay. You back?
Yeah, I think so. Let me just see here.
Don't know what that means.
It looks like... Oh, yay. So, it's weird, right? Because my internet hasn't done this in, 4 weeks now? And now it's just decided to just start shitting out. But luckily, I was smart and I turned on recording today, so nothing's lost. It's fine. It's perfect.
Nice.
Word.
Awesome.
Okay.
We're back.
We're learning. Yay.
So, where did
Learning
you
is
cut out?
occurring. I cut out at the part where you said you've got a lot of other things on your mind.
Yeah, she's, assuming that Milo...
You said you got a lot of things on your mind, and you said you don't know if we don't... and I was about to say, as players, you can totally read it, but you can determine whether or not your character would have read it at some point during the course of it.
I asked whether Milo or Jericho would have told any of the party members, and I think they said they would have.
Yes, we would have given people a quick breakdown when we were all gathering at the end of the day.
Yeah. So, assuming that this has been told, then, she's now almost becoming a little paranoid in her head that she has these things that she wants to do, yet she's trapped within this tower. So, it's kind of like that, I have a new goal in life, and then having it completely stomped within a day. And it's it's almost unfair, she thinks, that it's happened. So, she's becoming a very, almost depressed mood. Almost, I would say. So, she's now, very, somber and very, just quiet, almost.
Okay, cool. So I think that we can progress to the next watch, which is Ari's. No, I refuse to play on fastest no pause. That sounds horrible. That sounds like a bad.
You guys
time.
are babies. You're playing it wrong.
No, I don't think that I am. I think I'm just not a glutton for punishment. Anyway, so Ari, it is your turn for a watch, and so the other two lay down to get some rest, and you're up, and you can roll me a perception check.
Okay. If it ever wants to load. There we go.
Cool. So, so Ari, you get kind of that feeling I'm sure at one point or another you've been loping across the plains as a wolf, and that kind of feeling of the wind kind of rushing by your ears in wolf form, because it's all your senses are kind of enhanced, and that sound of wind just similar to how Morella was hearing it, you hear it, and then you like kind of like you shake your head, and you're like, "What was that?" And then it's gone. And then you hear it again, and you kind of shake your head, and then it was gone. It's a little bit disorienting because you get this like innate sensation that you're moving very quickly, but you're sitting still. Like kind of like as a human, to compare it to like when you have the windows down on a car, and it's just
like the air pressure changes or whatever.
Yeah. So you definitely feel that as you're on watch, and then again, like you go to like listen closely to hear it, and you don't hear it. It goes away.
So it's just me and Marcus up right now, correct?
Yeah, Marcus is kind of like
well, sort of up over in the corner.
Yeah, he's like zoned out over in the corner.
Okay. Well, Ari's been pacing around back and forth like a caged animal, because she literally is a caged animal.
Right, yeah.
I guess she keeps looking over at Marcus to be like, do you hear that? And then he probably ignores her, and she's like, oh, okay. And then she keeps going back and forth and back and forth. And I guess she might like want to poke her head out and go investigate, but realizes that's probably a bad choice. So she just kind of goes back to her like backwards pacing like an animal in a zoo kind of a deal.
Right. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Cool. So I think that's it for yours. So then you go to sleep, and Marcus is still awake, and it's his watch. So, Marcus.
Yes.
Roll me a perception check.
Got it. Would I technically have exhaustion at this point?
Well, that's up to you. Remember, I told you that technically you're still benefiting from a long rest if you just don't do anything for 8 hours. I think it would take more than one night of no sleep to really
exhaustion.
Incur exhaustion in its truest form. But if you want to impose penalties on yourself, I mean, I'm not going to stop you.
Okay, so I totally have exhaustion by this point because I haven't been able to read, so I am kind of falling asleep.
Sure.
So that's how I'm going to play it. So that's a 16.
Okay. So Marcus, as you're kind of staring out the window, and it's your watch, and I'm sure that like you get up like every 10 minutes or whatever, and look out the doors and make sure no one's there, and then you go back and you sit down, and you're at least dutiful on your watch.
Yes.
I think that as you're staring out the window, the kind of clouded glass, you can't put your finger on it, but you think that every time you go and you sit back down, it's just a little bit different. The clouded areas are like in a slightly different place, or they're rotated slightly, almost like it moves when you're not looking at it. So again, like I don't know your level of paranoia at something like that. But you go up and you look out the little doorway area, and you don't see anything, and you go back, and then you go to look like at the same like maybe really tall tree that you've been looking at, and it was perfectly clear before, but now it's got this clouded glass kind of like over it, and you're sitting in the same spot. So either you're moving, or like the tower's moving, or like the window's alive, or the planet is moving underneath the tower. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I like to think the window's alive.
I definitely take notice of this. This is something that would quickly draw my attention.
Yeah?
Yeah. For sure.
However, your watch passes uneventfully, besides that little fact, and you all wake up in the morning. Hooray!
Oh,
Light comes streaming through the window, and if we could hear the birds outside, you would hear them, chirping along.
I approach Ari. And tap his shoulder going,
Have I now completed a long rest? Technically?
I mean, yeah, everybody's completed a long rest.
So I've leveled up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Indeed. So at your level up, what are you grabbing at level 6?
So I'm of course grabbing another level in cleric, which means I'm now a level 6 cleric, and I get one more divinity, so channel divinity, meaning I can cast divine strike twice, turn undead twice, whatever. But as a war cleric, I also can use my divine strike when one of my teammates attacks, which is pretty cool. Get another 3rd level spell slot, which is also cool. And, health.
Yes. So you're
So I
going
got
to
4.
roll. It's a
That's
little
a-
unfortunate. It's a little unfortunate that.
Little
D8.
bit.
That's okay. You're a real man for rolling. Don't let anybody tell you any different.
True story.
Say that
So-
to my character's face.
To your character's face.
Don't. I'm still.
Fantastic. So you all awake in the morning, and what do you do? So you're armed with a little bit more knowledge.
Surprised.
You're armed with a little bit more knowledge than previously, right?
Yeah.
All right. So, worst case scenario, how long can we survive in this tower?
I think we agreed that it took you about 3 days to get here, and you brought 2 weeks worth of rations. So worst case scenario, you're looking at about, it's mostly the water, right? Because you can go without food for quite some time. I mean, crap, you could probably eat the paper in here, and it would give you enough nutrients to at least survive, because it's made out of organic material, right? But probably we're looking at maybe about 2 weeks total, because you can live about 3 days without water.
And also, we have good berries from the druid,
we?
and I think
And I now have create food and water. So
Indeed, yes, because you changed your spells, right?
yes.
Yeah. So ostensibly, you guys could survive in here forever. There's really no time limit on that.
I also.
Oh yeah, that's totally perfect. That's what Marilla
Brilliant.
wants, to survive forever in a
Forever
tower
and
and let her
ever.
Well, I
hopes
mean,
and dreams get
Ever
died.
and ever and ever.
Ever, yeah.
Look at it this way, Morella. You're a princess in a tower. Sooner or later, a hot dude is going to show up and save
That's
you.
actually true.
I know,
And
but-
yeah.
and the rest of you will be you'll be animate objects, like a teapot and
Oh, dibs on being the chandelier.
teacup or the candelabra.
Dibs on being animal companion.
Absolutely.
Whatever, they're both good.
I mean, you absolutely would be the candelabra. Like,
I want to be the rug. I want to be the rug.
yeah, I think you are. I think this just becomes Beauty and the Beast, the campaign.
Yeah.
Except it's reversed, right? Like Ari is the Beast, literally. Like she gets stuck in wolf form forever,
Forever.
and until her true love
I don't-
comes and gives her first kiss, right?
I feel like Ari would
Pretty
be
sure that's how it
upset if someone got her out of permanent wolf form, though.
I would be like, what the hell?
I had a good thing going!
I know, you come and screw it up. Asshole.
So
And
I would like to
So-
back
approach
into wolf
Marcus.
and kill her. GG.
What?
I don't know.
So I approach Marcus and I tap him, and then I hold up my little thing that says, "Can you help me?"
Oh, the paper. I turn to Raka and I'm just like, sure, Raka, no problem. And I cast Remove Curse.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I am a doctor. How's my patient doing this morning?
My entire character sheet is super screwed up. Ooh.
So Raka can now speak common.
So
So
I also go over to Ari and do the same.
Yay.
okay. So Ari, like when Jericho asks you how you feel just as shitty as the previous day, right? You
I
just
respond
feel-
in kind.
Like you wake up feeling tired, kind of like that overslept feeling, where you're a little bit more tired than when you first initially went to sleep, which is always fantastic, right?
It's good
So yeah,
times.
you're a little bit overtired, and then as Marcus walks over to you and casts the remove curse on you, you feel much better. Your stamina seems to return, and it feels like he just pulled like a weight off your shoulders, literally, like if you were carrying a ton of weight on your shoulders, and then he pulls it off of you, and then you can stand up straight. You get up and you stretch, and the morning light is just shining through the windows, and it's really beautiful, and et cetera, et cetera.
So this scene happens. I go to hug Marcus, but Ari's kind of afraid of Marcus. So she goes to hug him and see what he does.
Yeah, do you react, Marcus, or are you just sleep
Like, to
deprived
thank
and just
you?
oh, okay, sure.
Marcus is just he's just a very slightly confused. He hasn't had too much interaction with women, so it's a bit strange.
You are a warrior
Yeah.
priest.
Okay, then she
only women
hugs you
would
and is
have-
like, thanks.
In fact, probably the only women you would have interaction with would be the Sisters of Sigmar, and damn it. So, can you guys hear me? Should be able to hear me, right? Okay, cool. Apologize for the interruption. Apparently, my internet decided to be a complete asshole today.
No, I won't play another
It's
game while I'm
ours.
playing a game already.
In the meantime, I'm going to pause the stream really quickly.